It's more than rap. Elevation. More than how your money stack. Elevation. Move forward, no going back. Elevation. Now where you from, but where you at? I be coming through, bombing shit with no hesitation. Step into this booth, slay this beat like my name was Jason. Domination and preparation led to a new sensation, new creation. That's what you're facing. Now watch my elevation.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is information that came from Talk Sport, which is basically Frank Warren saying that Deontay Wilder is coming back in October, and he believes that the opponent is going to be Robert Helenius. And what's that, like the Nordic, what they call him, the Nordic, I forget, the Nordic something.
Nordic Nightmare or something like that?
Yeah, the Nordic Nightmare. Yeah. And he had just completely destroyed Adam Kalinowski. In his last fight, just destroyed the poor guy
2 times.
Yeah, I was rooting for him, Kalinowski too, but yeah, that's the one G got right, I think.
Yeah, that was the only one I got right there.
That's the one G got right. So, yeah, I'm turning over to you, Conspiracy G. What's your reaction to this? And do you think it's a good fight?
All right, I kind of knew if Wilder was gonna make a comeback, it would be a guy like a Helenius, but I actually don't like it. For a few reasons. For one, I'm in my conspiracy bag. I know Wilder and Helenius are pretty close. So to me, it could just be on some Helenius might be like, all right, yo, listen, I'll take this L, to big you up. Just always hire me for training camps or whatever. I'm just saying, it's just like if Fury and Joseph Parker, was like, yeah, let's just do this fight. And I'm like, I don't really trust y'all. Just like with Joseph Parker and Chisora, I'm like, y'all are boys. Y'all really gonna try to take each other's heads off? I'm like, now there's guys that could do it, but then there's other guys that are probably like, let me weigh my options here. Am I ever gonna really be a world champion? Does Helenius really think he's gonna be a world champion? I don't think so. I think he's comfortable being just a guy that's on like the Fox like fights, and so like he knows his position that he's playing, right? They're feeding him to Wilder, and Wilder's his man. He's probably like, oh, whatever, as long as I get a good payday. So I don't necessarily like it. I honestly, and also obviously both of them are PBC fighters, so it makes sense, right? Like the other options is like he's actually the best one in PBC right now, right? Because Wilder already went through like most of the other PBC guys. So who else can they use within that promotional team? Helenius, because if Helenius lost to Kalinowski, I'm pretty sure they would put Wilder with Kalinowski, right? But Kalinowski lost, so it makes the most sense to put him in there with Helenius. So it's whatever, man. It's literally, this is just a showcase fight to just watch Wilder make his comeback. That's what it really is. I wish though Al would consider, the Chisora fight for a number of reasons. I believe
people say they're not doing a Chisora fight.
Yeah, I know, but I believe that Wilder there's more to be made, like notoriety wise, with a Chisora fight than there is a Helenius fight.
Now, Shelly said if anything, if they did business, they would go straight for the winner of Usyk Joshua.
Yeah, I heard him say that. I heard him say
no
that.
point in doing business to fight Chisora.
It's just simple. Win the hearts of the UK fans. You're gonna win. Just knock this dude out and keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Like Helenius, like I'm gonna be honest, man. It's not like anyone's gonna be excited for this fight. And I'd be damned if this becomes a pay-per-view fight. I'm not paying to see Wilder beat up on Helenius unless that's like free on Showtime or free on Fox. If it's a pay-per-view fight, this is rubbish, bro. Like this is UK rubbish. What they be saying, rubbish. That's what that is. At least think about it. The Chisora Wilder, the conferences, like all the promotional stuff is gonna be hilarious. They're gonna talk trash. It's gonna be funny. Wilder gets an opportunity to tap into a market that historically has been like hating on him because of the whole AJ situation. This is a way to win more of those fans. So that way it's like he can come in there.
You think knocking out Chisora is a way for Wilder to win over the UK?
Yo, I'm telling you, yeah. You know, like
knocking out the UK mascot?
Why not? You know what I mean? Like Wilder just has to show another side of himself. Like, you know, he doesn't have to be the pompous American, right? And you know Wilder, man, he's really a nice dude. So, you know, Wilder does the little back and forth with Chisora, but then after shows Chisora love, embraces the UK, will show them respect, blah, blah, blah. Boom, he wins over some people. You know, Wilder already won a lot of UK fans from the Fury loss, you know, so like this is a way to take Wilder's I guess star power to the next level. Him going up against Helenius, it does nothing for his it really does nothing for his career. It's just to stay active. That's all it is. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna stay active. Now, Helenius is, I'm not gonna say Helenius is food. He's not. He's a rugged dude. He has power, but again, I just don't see Wilder losing to Helenius. If Helenius beats Wilder, that's gonna be a major upset of the year. So I just don't necessarily see it. So I'm like, if you're gonna go play with food, go play with Chisora. Pause. You know what I mean? So, like, I think it'd just be much easier, and he just wins way more than beating a Helenius.
You may be onto something because, you know, if you beat Chisora, you get Five Guys burgers after. All right, Ned the TVE. What's your reaction to this?
I'm not on G's. I feel what G's saying, but I feel like Robert Helenius has put the work in, and it's not gonna be an easy fight for Wilder. Like I feel like it's gonna be a good fight, but it's not gonna be a gut fight we want to pay for. It shouldn't be on pay-per-view. I feel Helenius has put the work in to show you that he's like a dog in this division, but he's not over the edge. But Wilder, it's his comeback fight, and this is a dangerous fight for him. And I think Wilder really should train for this dude and really should watch some tape and really understand what he's going up against. Because Helenius was surprised.
Sparred many times. Why would he need to watch tape?
True. But Kaunaki was supposed
He still need to watch tape, Ned.
He still need to watch tape. Kaunaki, excuse me. Kaunaki was supposed to be one of the guys we talked about. He's in the top 10 heavyweights, but he's not. He got outshone.
Stop.
He got outshone, outboxed. He got beaten and battered by Helenius twice, and I just think it's not going to be that easy of a fight as you think it is. I think Helenius is going to show up, and then you know that moment when you think y'all are friends, and be like, yo, take that fall. He's not. Why am I dropping? Why am I forgetting
Malik
the man's
Scott.
name?
Malik Scott.
He's not Malik Scott. He's not Malik Scott, and I think Wilder's going to learn a valuable lesson in this fight right now. So I'm not picking anybody at this moment, but I think it's going to be a dope fight. I think it's going to be something we need to watch. But until October.
All right, you heard what my man TVE had to say. Now let's bring in Complex.
All right. You know, I love the Wilder conversations. No, but this is a bad fight. And the reason why it's a bad fight is because one of the fighters already told us how it would go. If you guys go back to Fury Wilder 3, in the build-up to that fight, there was one of those 24/7 type programs or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And they showed Wilder sparring Helenius in the footage. And it was a short amount of footage, but in the footage, Wilder's giving Helenius the business. Now, obviously, this is a build-up for Wilder's fight, so they're going to show the best parts. But you can see Wilder wrecking Helenius already, right? So that's one. Two, after Helenius' second fight against Kaunaki, they talked to him in the ring. I forget it was an interview or so, but they asked him, how was it training with Wilder, getting ready for this fight? You know, and he was like, it was good. I just was trying not to get knocked out. He was like, the hard thing was staying awake the whole time, right? So this already told us how the fight would go. Now, obviously, you know, training camp fights, sparring is not the same as in the ring. So not everything that happens in sparring exactly is going to happen in the ring. But I think, like G mentioned, these guys are kind of friends. He's been in his training camp. To me, it's not my best fight. I'm not really care for it. Like if it's on Fox, I'll watch it. If you want to put on Fox as like a showcase to bring Wilder back and watch him, eat some Nordic food or whatever, cool. But if you're gonna try to make this like a marquee fight and whatever, I just don't see it for me personally. Now, obviously, the general public might buy it up, but I would pass on it because I just don't think it's a fight that is gonna prove anything. I see Wilder as still a championship level fighter. So I know this is his first fight back after a while. I don't expect him to get into like a one of the top guys, but at least I want to see a challenge. And I do think Wilder is at least one of the top 3 heavyweights in the world right now, still, even after the loss to Fury. And I think he can prove that. I think a good fight, who's a person who's, I think, with PBC or at least with Showtime, is Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin, I think, fights for Showtime. Unless he fought Dominic Breazeale, he's had some other fights. But that's a guy who fought Tyson Fury, went 12 rounds with him. You can fight him, right? His name is not that big, but if you're going to fight some European bum, or not a bum, but like some European name, at least let it be Otto Wallin, or give us something new that we don't know. And Otto Wallin has fought well enough that you can question, like, hey, he could beat Wilder, right? He gets some boxing skills. He has, you know what I'm saying? So you might think like, hey, there's a chance that Wilder could lose. Well, there's any fight that is possible, but G?
Quick question. Do you think Wilder's going to get any credit from beating Wallin, though?
I don't think he's going to get any credit for beating Helenius. So if you're going to, for me, I'd rather just see a new name. Because, like I said,
he ain't going to get credit for beating Chisora either.
Right.
No, but Chisora, all 3, Chisora has the biggest name. You know what I mean? So at least
Chisora to me is the weakest out of all those to fight. That
is true.
It's a weaker
that's
fight.
why it's the easiest tune-up fight. That's
a
like
terrible
Robert
fight.
Bank easy. I
don't think he's gonna get any credit.
That's what G really want. G want the easiest fight for Wilder. That's what
not even. I'm not even. Nah, not even. Like I would love to be like, yeah, Wilder should fight George Joyce right now. But I'm like, bro, I don't want Wilder to be in a real gunfight right now. Like, say that for one of the
I would be fine if he fought. Look, I would love it if he fought Joseph Parker, if they can make that fight. Because they've been talking about that for years. And people were always like, oh, well, whatever. Like, okay, let's fight Joseph Parker now, former champions, right? I'd like to see him against Dillian White. I would love that fight. Yes, Dillian just got knocked out, but guess what? So did Wilder. And there's bad blood. You've been talking a lot of trash. So, Dillian.
You've had
some time off.
That would be a good fight right
That'd
now.
be a great fight. Dillian, you've had some time off
now.
now.
I don't get credit for that either.
It doesn't matter.
His chin is
Dillian's coming off of his L to Fury, and Wilder's coming off his L to Fury.
This is the difference. We know that Dillian's chin is evaporated.
It doesn't matter.
He's not going to get
credit. Did you not see our comment section? How many people in the UK were still saying that they think Dillian White will beat Deontay Wilder? I used to think Dillian White could beat Deontay Wilder. After seeing what I saw, I'll put a wager on Wilder if that fight happens.
Look, there's a lot of good fights. I just don't think Helenius is the name. Now, obviously, PBC likes to do a lot of in-house fights because they got that. Like, so if you're already signed to PBC, that's like the first level is to go there. But I think there's other fights that would get the boxing public a lot more excited than a Robert Helenius. So I'm not really a fan of the fight. Like I said, Helenius admitted himself that he was just trying to stay awake when he was sparring Wilder. Helenius is okay. Helenius is really, having a resurgence, but he was knocked out by Gerald Washington not that long ago. Mm-hmm. So let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not a top flight. Wilder knocking him out in a few rounds or whatever, or one round, I don't know, isn't going to do anything for me to tell me anything. I don't think it does anything for Wilder. I think Wilder should fight a live guy and a guy who's got something, so you can either one, get some work in, or two, when you do beat him, people are like, oh, okay, Wilder's still top of the division, right? So that's just my feeling on it. I don't really like the fight for Wilder against Helenius. I don't think that's a worthwhile fight. I'd rather see almost anybody else.
Is Big Pharma Miller still undefeated?
No, he's lost mad drug tests. He lost about 5 drug tests.
He's still undefeated.
Yeah, he's still undefeated. He's still undefeated.
Yo, listen, Al, make that happen. He got bad blood. There's a story.
Big Pharma. No, Big Pharma deserves no money. Nah, after the amount of times you cheated, try to cheat the sport, try to cheat people, putting all that stuff in your system.
I get all that.
He deserves no money, no notoriety. I don't believe that guy should even be in the sport.
Yo, Al, don't listen to Complex. Listen to G. Listen to G.
Yo, Big Pharma got Chris Lovejoy problems. That should be a fight. That would be a hilarious fight. You talk about like press conference and it's just that would be the fight to make. Because you saw how Big Baby Miller was looking in the build up to his comeback fight. Look, it's not that I disagree with you guys that much. I understand where everyone's coming from. I understand the value of fighting Chisora to get you the British crowd, but I'm not necessarily sure that Deontay Wilder's trying to get the British crowd. It doesn't matter what he does. The Brits are always going to root against him. They're never going to love him. If he fights Tyson Fury, they're rooting against him. If he fights Anthony Joshua, they're rooting against him. If he fights Joe Joyce, they're rooting against him. So I really don't see you talk about the money aspect of it. I don't necessarily know, if it's going to be as beneficial for him to come over, unless it's just a money thing, right? And if you're Deontay Wilder, do you feel like coming all the way to England just to slaughter that lamb to make a couple of dollars? I don't know, No,
can I make a quick point? Yeah. I don't think that whole UK market thing is really as much as you guys think it is. One, the UK market's going to watch Wilder either way, right? The point is, do they care about him? They don't have to love him. Either they love you or they hate you, but it's one of those things. As long as they're not indifferent, right? The UK public cares about Wilder. If they're going to watch him fight no matter what, he doesn't have to go over there to win them over. The general public in the UK already knows Wilder. He's going to get that money anyways. And there's more money in the American market than in the UK market. On the high end of the US market, if he wins here, he's going to get that UK money anyways, because a lot of the big fights happen on the evening time of US time. So the UK people are going to stay up anyways. But if you fight like in the afternoon and you're fighting in the UK, you may not get a lot of the American money, because a lot of times people don't like usually watching fights at 4 in the afternoon or 5 in the afternoon, right? So for me, I think the whole thing of going to the UK doesn't really make sense from a business perspective for Wilder. I don't think he's going to make that much more money by winning the UK market. Okay.
And I know we're in cadence slot. Go. I'll try to be as fast as possible.
Now, do you think?
With Wilder versus Chisora versus a Wilder versus Helenius is this: Wilder and Chisora will pack out the O2 Arena. That's a guarantee. Wilder versus Helenius, I don't even know if they'll pack out. What's with the Barclays? I'm being honest. I know how PBC gonna do it. They're gonna have to stack the card to make it appear like this is the fight that people want to see, when all in reality, we know people don't really want to see this fight. The Chisora Wilder fight, and I agree, the fans, the UK fans may just come to just see Wilder get guillotined. It don't matter. Wilder's going to get a huge payday for free food. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it makes more sense for Wilder to go to the Shore route versus the Helenius route, because it's like, what do you really benefit from beating up on Helenius? I don't really see the pay-per-view. If it's a pay-per-view, it's going to tank. It's going to be horrible. They're going to start giving out free tickets to the Barclay. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, really, what does Wilder benefit from a Helenius fight? So that's what I'm saying. The Chisora is a lot better.
You kind of said what I was about to get to, Complex, which is, we're not really so sure that there's more money to be gained going to UK. I'll give you an example. When I pointed out the fact that Gervonta Davis selling 275,000 pay-per-view buys at $80 a pop generates damn near the same amount as Anthony Joshua selling 1 million pay-per-view buys at 20 pounds a pop, right? They didn't like that, but it's a fact. So, like, you can laugh at American pay-per-view numbers, but the money being generated is so much more. If Gervonta Davis would have sold 1 million pay-per-view buys, you know what type of money that is, what type of revenue that is, especially when I believe it was at 20 pounds a pay-per-view buy for $1 million, right? That's I think I might do that at 24, which would make it 24 million. Gervonta Davis at 80, that makes it 22 million. So the point I'm making is, like, and then, like Complex said, if you fight at 6 o'clock in America, who's watching it at 6? If it's in the UK and they're
That's
fighting
East
at 6,
Coast time. On the West Coast, it's 3 in the afternoon. People are at work or doing things or whatever. It's just not gonna work.
Who's watching it? So again, what market are you trying to cater to? Like, although American numbers look like bad if you compare it to the UK numbers, you got to look at it like the fights cost way more to watch them here in America than it does in the UK. Which brings me to the gate you're talking about at the O2 Arena. Yeah, the O2 Arena seats all these people, but how much are they paying for tickets? They probably got tickets there for like $10 a pound. I remember I used to go to the Red Sox game and get standing room tickets for $10, and then I would find a seat and sit there until somebody came. And if nobody came, bang, that was just my seat for the whole game. So again, I'm not necessarily sure that their gates generating a lot. You and I both know that it's like $5,000, $3,000, and $5,000 to sit ringside at a major fight here in America. So again, I'm not so sure that that's my point about.
If I can make a quick point, sorry. Also, I know people say, "Oh, Wilder had trouble filling out the arenas at O2 or whatever prior," but he's had the two biggest or a couple biggest fights of his career. These were all over social media, all over everything. And Wilder actually gained a lot of fans after that third fight. I mean, you had famous people coming out like, "Yo, Wilder, man, like that was they were just proud of his performance." So if Wilder comes back, I don't think he'll have as much trouble. I think people want to come and see Wilder's comeback fight. And I think also if they can sell it in different markets. I don't know why they were so stuck on the Barclays, but go to Atlanta. I guarantee you he'll sell out Atlanta.
I'm so happy Wilder doesn't go to Atlanta. I always say the same thing.
Go to Atlanta, go to Houston. Bro, I'm telling you, he's gonna sell. I don't know who's running the show. The markets, there's other markets.
I don't know why they bring this country guy to the East Coast.
To New York City, yeah.
Go to Atlanta, bro. Yeah.
The South has you have big markets in the South where you can have big fights. I mean, take him to a New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? He can. I guarantee you, he'll fill out arenas in other parts of the country that have a different demographic and that are gonna be much more relatable to him because he's from there. I don't know why they kept bringing him up to New York, but anyway, I just want to say that.
Nah, great point. Which brings me. What?
Hold on. Is everything good?
Yeah, I was about to say something, but you said something. What did you say?
I went to Atlanta and Tank was fighting that night. I was there for a couple of days, but Tank was fighting on Saturday night, and it was like the thing. Like everybody wanted to see Tank fight in Atlanta. So I'm saying if Wilder chose Atlanta over New York, I think he would have a better career.
Facts.
It like Tank was the word. It was like, yo, what we're doing tonight is the Tank's fighting tonight. We gotta go see Tank fight. So
yeah. Man, I was one quick story. I was in Atlanta the night that Wilder fought Luis Ortiz the second time. And I remember standing in line for the club, and some chicks were like, "Man, I'm gonna go home. There's a fight tonight on, anyways. Like, this is taking too long." So they knew Wilder was fighting. So I'm just saying that's just like you said in Atlanta. People cared about the Tank fight. That's a quick anecdote story to show that I know some other people were worried about the Wilder fight. And he wasn't even fighting in town that night. The fight was somewhere else, but they were like, "I'm gonna go home and order the fight instead of being here." So there's a market, especially in the South. There's a big market for Wilder, and Wilder's at the peak of his career right now. You could capitalize on that. Wilder would sell, and also remember the gate is cool money, but the gate's not all the money. The money is the TV, the streaming rights, all that stuff is where the real money comes. The gate is like a cool little, all right, this is some extra money, and it looks good when it's packed. But the gate isn't where the vast majority of the money comes. The vast majority comes from pay-per-view sales, if it's pay-per-view, on the international streaming rights and the advertisers and all that stuff. That's where the real money comes in. So the gate isn't as important, when you're making these decisions. Like selling out the O2 or whatever is like, you're not going to make that much money when you're losing all that other money.
Yeah, it sounds good to say it. Like, it's been like Eddie's talking point for the longest time. But again, what is that gate generating? So like, that's like the point that I was trying to make, which is I don't know if like going to the UK and getting that love or that exposure is really going to do much for his career, because they're going to hate him anyway. And if he fights in America, I still think it's a possibility that they would still generate more money, even with the Helenius fight. And like when it comes to Deontay Wilder, I do feel like a lot of people are going to show him love who never showed him love before. Like that even includes myself. Like y'all know me. My biggest issue with Wilder was I felt like he didn't care about the sport. Like I feel like he didn't train hard enough. I feel like he just was relying on his right hand too much. And I said it to y'all, when he runs into someone who can do a number of things, he's going to be in trouble. And that happened, but it didn't happen the way I thought. I thought like he didn't care about boxing. So as soon as he got clipped, he was going to quit and he was going to give up. But no, he got knocked down. He got up. He got beat up. He got knocked down. He got up. He got beat up. Then he really went and trained and came back again to fight. And I'm thinking he's going to get beat up even easier this time. No, he got knocked down. He got up. He dropped him. He got up. He dropped him again. Then Fury started beating him up, and he took an absolute beat and tried to win. And I'm like, yo, you got to love the sport to do that. He could have quit a long time. Now, people try to discredit Wilder and say, oh, it was his ego. Oh, it was this. Oh, it was that. Yo, I know people with egos. You don't just get beat up like that because of your ego. Javier Fortuna had an ego, but you look at him in the build-up to that fight. Nah, it's more than that. He wanted to be great. He wanted to win. He cared. He cared about his legacy. He cared. So in that moment, he showed me that he wasn't who I thought he was. And although his skills are limited, he loves boxing just as much as I love boxing. And in turn, that made me have a new respect for Wilder. And I think a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people who felt like he's just some dude making money, relying on his right hand, when they saw him take that beating and still try to win, they're like, yo, this dude really cares. Like, yo, this guy's really a dog. Go ahead, G.
Just to add too, remember at in the second fight when the towel was thrown in, right? And Wilder was like, remember he was like, yo, I'm willing to die in that ring. Even myself, I'm looking at Wilder like, well, you don't mean that, bro. And literally the third one, this dude was willing to die in that ring. You got to give that man that credit. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's. I'll be honest with you. To me, it was one of those performances where, like, I went into watching that fight and I wanted Fury to knock Wilder the hell out in the first round. That's what I wanted to happen. But by the time we got to the 10th and I saw Wilder fade, and I'm like, hold on, dog. There's 2 more rounds, champ. Like, make it to the end. Like, I wanted to see Wilder make it to the 12th round because I felt like he deserved it based on the way he performed. And like, you see it in like movies and you see it, but you know, movies are an expression of life. What Wilder really did, I feel like, in that fight was he changed the way people felt about him, the way people perceived him. So I do think if he fights Helenius, you know, wherever, I think people are going to come out to see him because he proved a lot to people in that fight. And Dillian getting knocked out the way he did by Tyson Fury immediately after, not taking all that punishment, only solidifies who he is. So, I mean, for me, I'm cool with it. You know, it is what it is. But
hey, Caden, that Wilder is no Seth Mitchell.
Oh no, he's no Seth Mitchell. Wilder's a true champion. He's a true champion. No one can take that away from him.
I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. We have a podcast that's available on all major streaming services. So if you don't want to see us, or if you're driving and you want to check us out, man, you can pull up the podcast. We are the Boxing Bros.